One mic is on my hand. I'm just going to test. Is it working on the corridor, the sound? You don't need to listen to me yet. I'm just checking the corridor for sound. Are you hearing me? Okay, it's working great. Then...
This slide. Hello, I'm Ivan, if you forgot. Oh, I see another Ivan yeah. Hello, Ivan. So, Germán here. This is the part where I say, here's Germán on lead, but no, I'll tell a little bit more. He told a really funny story yesterday when he arrived, that I've been following Germán for some time on the Instagram. Like, I just love the shapes and the designs and colors and everything. And I just recently decided I will invite him for the next theme park, because I love to share things I like with you. It's not for you to decide, for me mostly. What?
That one works.
Oh, so I was sorry. So yeah, and when Germán arrived to Finland, he said that just few days after I contacted him about the theme park, he was contacted by Rovio's Canada office, so he could work with them, which was a bit weird and really strange coincidence. But I guess just really cool artists are ideas are in the air, and I think he's going to show you right now why me and the whole freaking Rovio thinks he's a cool. Yep, start.
Well, thank you so much, Ivan, for such a great presentation. You're too kind. Oh, okay, this is a little bit scary. But yeah, thank you so much for the invitation. It's great to be here with all of you. For the whole, for the people helping to the event. It's great to be here. Anyway, I'm going to start with it because I'm going to be awkward just a few minutes until I get used to speak here. But well, my name is Germán Reina Carmona, and I've been working on video games and animation, TV shows these last few years. Recently, I finished working on a video game called OlliOlli World, where I've been the only concept artist, doing the visual development for the game. And I want to get to explain how I ended up proposing some designs, like these characters, for example, for the first DLC of OlliOlli World called Void Riders, or how I ended up proposing something like this. Okay, this was supposed to be a suit that you could wear on the game. It didn't make it to the end, but anyway, I just wanted to be able to show it. My goal with the presentation is to talk a little bit about my experience getting into this industry. Before getting to OlliOlli World, I want to show some of the projects that I've been able to work on. And also to give you a little bit more context, I'm from the Canary Islands, specifically from Lanzarote, one of the small islands from there. I've been drawing my whole life, but I didn't discover that concept art was a thing until I was 19, 20 years old. At that moment in my life, I was studying engineering, and basically my brain was melting from trying to understand science or anything related to that. So I switched careers and I started to study fine arts. As you know, fine arts has a more traditional approach to art. And I was making stuff like this, where basically I focus on oil painting, charcoal drawings, life drawing with models. During this period of time, the only thing that I had clear about concept art was that you needed to get your fundamentals in order. So it was great to be able to have this experience, studying this degree at university, because I was able to focus on these fundamentals. Something that I tried to do was to keep learning on my own time, doing sketches for fun and personal projects on my own. Yeah, so these are some examples of oil paintings and charcoal drawings. But anyway, what the hell is concept art? Because at that time, I wasn't really sure what was that about. Yeah, I just knew slightly what it was. I think that now with some time, I think there are some different ways of explaining what's concept art. And that there is not just one path getting into this kind of job. And also, besides from painting and drawing, that's something that you always have to have in mind, is to propose ideas and have a unique view on things. So anyway, all of this time, when I was at university, I was focusing on just making stuff render, basically painting things, because I thought that in order to get a job in concept art, you needed to know how to render stuff. Like that was it. There was no other way around. So basically, I was trying to get rid of all the lines in the designs that I was making. Like these are some examples when I was studying fine art, where I basically was focusing on designing characters, and then I was trying to paint them as well as possible. Also, I was trying to learn 3D photobushing and all of these things more used in concept art. So at the end of when I was finishing the degree, I was trying to produce some images like these ones, for example. These are 2 shots that I made basically without drawing involved. Was just for the initial thumbnails, was basically 3D block out and then using photos and textures to produce the final shot. Like the character here, for example, was my flatmate at that time at university. So yeah, you have to use your resources. Yeah, anyway, I didn't enjoy it very much making this kind of thing, but still, like I was trying to learn what was concept art, so I was trying to do everything basically, and trying to touch every subject that I found. So now I want to go in a very different direction and to talk about a very special project. And it's a short film called Las Niñas Terribles, Terrible Girls in English. So at university, I met some amazing artists, and I was able to work with them on this short film. Basically, the team was David Orellana, the animator and director of the short film, Alba Ballesta, character designer, prop designer, Rocío Batanero, VFX and post-production, who, by the way, is here today with me, and an amazing designer too. Myself making the environment design, all of the backgrounds for the short film. So yeah, I'm going to give you a little bit of context. So you have, like, I'm not going to focus too much on the short film, but anyway, the story is about some kids building a monolith in the middle of nowhere, let's say. And there is a supervisor watching the construction of the monolith and also counting the bricks. Also, the short film shows a conflict between this group of kids. Here's also the trailer that you won't get. Like, I wanted to explain the story briefly before, because from the trailer you won't get what it's about. Like you will get just some view on how it looks. Okay, let's see. All right. what's going on here. Sorry, technical issues here. Okay, ready to go. Yeah, so I wanted to share a little bit of the process here about this project because at the end, the short film is 11 minutes long. It was a very small team developing the short film, so it was basically a lot of work. And speaking about the environment and the production of backgrounds, the whole short film happens in just one location. So we were able to take advantage of that, and in order to not go crazy with the amount of work that I had to do painting the backgrounds, I decided to start using some 3D. Like here's a beautiful 3D blockout. Sorry to the 3D artist here. So well, I made this 3D blockout after having some of the concept for the different areas in this short film. This is just an example of the sketches for this shed where the supervisor of the construction is watching the kids building it. Yeah, so we made the concept for the overall view of the environment and the different areas in it, and then I made this piece of art. So the advantage of doing this, well, obviously, was to save time with the layout. That was the main reason to use 3D, basically, because in the end we were able to produce the initial part of the backgrounds like real quick. Like this image is it's a bare view of the 3D blockout, and well, in theory, the red squares are like some examples of the cameras inside the 3D software and how those shots could look in the final background paintings. So basically, the advantage of using this the 3D was to sit down with David, the animator and director, and to extract all of the layouts from the 3D using directly the storyboard. So we were able to just use the cameras to find the closest composition to the shots that he wanted to have, and also to improve some of the compositions and so on. Then to speed up the process, because I didn't have to worry about perspective or like the composition on the base for it. So in this image on the left, you have one example of the pages from the storyboard, and then the process from the layout to the background painting to the final image with the animation and the VFX over it. Yeah, so sitting down to get the layouts was just a matter of a couple of hours. That was it. And the great thing about this is that we were able to work simultaneously on different shots, and on the same shot it is really didn't matter because he was able to animate over the 3D layout, and at the same time I was able to paint over it. So then it was a matter of just coordinating to put them together, which, by the way, like the whole short film was animated by one guy, so that's pretty crazy. Yeah, these are some examples of backgrounds from the short film, and I had to paint like around 80 backgrounds, so it was quite a long time. And at this moment, we had already the 3D layout to help with the composition and perspective. And I was still thinking like, okay, what else could I do to save work? Because at the end, like when you're doing a repetitive task, I'm constantly thinking about, okay, how to save time, because it's going to be kind of boring doing repeating the same stuff over and over. So I started to create these sets of images to help me with this repetition. Like the top left image is a set of blending modes and textures for Photoshop that I had to use consistently through the different backgrounds. The bottom images are just some examples of key backgrounds that I was using to color pick from them. because because at the end the environment of the short film is divided into 4 areas. So I just needed one key background per area to have that as a reference for the colors. And then the image on the right is a set of mountains that I basically was using almost the same mountains for all of the shots. But since they are far away, you won't notice. So the short film has just 3 color palettes. So this kind of thing ended up being super handy. This is the color palette referring to the first half of the short film. This is the color palette for the second half, and then this is the epilogue of the short. So you get an overview of how the color works on each part of it. Now, even though it's very simple, I wanted to show a little bit of the process doing the backgrounds. It's pretty straightforward, and there is no mystery here, because basically top left image is a 3 blockout, top right image, line art that I do over it, adding some more detail and props. Bottom left image, I add the colors, textures if needed, and bottom right image, it's the final background painting with glow and some other different effects. And the only technical thing that I would mention is that the shadows of the backgrounds are extracted directly from the 3D. And I know that for the 3D pros, this is not a great achievement, but for me it was at that time, because it basically was extracting the shadows from the render. Like the image from the left is the shadow directly from it. So it was just a matter of fixing the edges to match the line art that I was producing. And this saved me a lot of time and kept consistency throughout the short film in all of the backgrounds. So the process I have shown, this is the shot. I kept the shot from before and after, but so you can see a little bit more about the short film. But anyway, this is very short. It's just a couple of seconds. Yeah, so okay. Same problem as before. How do I get? Anyway. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that was what I wanted to show. What's this? Should I do turn out of fly access? It's okay. No thanks. Any suggestion for this? What?
No thanks.
No thanks. Okay, no thanks. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, we go to the end of this project. If I'm able to move forward. Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, it's not available online yet, but I wanted to show you a little bit of how the process was for this project. And anyway, I have what's going on now. Okay. But anyway, I wanted to show you a little bit about it, and still on my ArtStation I have a lot of the work that I did for it. Like soon, I guess, I will upload almost everything. Well, everything from this project. So this short film, the production of the short film was around 2 years. It started when I was still at university. It ended up when I was already working as a freelance. So I want to move back a little bit to talk about that time when I was finishing my studies of fine art, because I remember at that time was tricky, because I was looking for any job related to video games or animation. Like, I really didn't care. I was just looking for something in the industry, let's say, and checking every job listing on the internet and sending lots of emails. And finally, I got my first opportunity from a big animation studio in Manchester, but they offered a lower salary than what I thought was fair, and I turned it down. And this was a crazy move from my part, and it felt quite stupid for some time because at that moment I needed a job. But anyway, a couple of months later, I received an email from the same company and they offered the same position in a different project with a better salary. I think that it's necessary to know the value of your work, even though I don't recommend doing this at all. More if you need the job and you're starting. So this is not advice. This is just what I did at my experience. But anyway, I think I got lucky. It was a right timing, but still, that's something that needs some thought. Anyway, this was a job in animation. Before of that, I made some animations for fun, like this one, for example. Okay, no, I didn't hire because of this. This was just an excuse to show you this animation and to rescue it. Anyway, oh shit. Okay, so no, this job was making 2D layouts for a Nickelodeon show. It was a great opportunity. It wasn't super creative because of the work that the 2D layouts works for this kind of Nickelodeon show. But anyway, it was a fantastic opportunity having no experience in a studio. Still, around this time, I was just looking for an excuse to be in a studio. I didn't care if it wasn't concept art at all. And so, at that time, I was doing fine at this Nickelodeon show. But at this point, something happened in my family, and I decided to leave my job to get back to Lanzarote and to spend some time with my parents. So I decided to use this time to become a freelance artist, basically, and trying to at least. So I was searching for any project online, and I was sending again hundreds of emails, and because I had more time, I started to work again on my portfolio. And for once, I decided that the best use of my time was to do something that excited me. So I started to focus on basically just drawing. I did some different freelance works, which didn't give me much money, but made me feel like I was moving forward. This is an example from a small project of the type of freelance jobs that I was trying to do. And then I made this series of illustrations, kind of a short story called Meaningless Adventure. I thought that this was silly at that moment, but it made me visible on ArtStation and Behance, basically. So I started to receive inquiries for real projects. And then after this, this is when I consider that I really started to work as a concept artist, because my first job was working with Quest Studio from LA, which was a crazy jam for me because we worked together on Valorant. So still, I was thinking that in order to work as a concept artist, you needed to know how to render stuff. Again, just you need to know how to present stuff as polished as possible. And for a moment, initially it seemed like I was right, because I had to paint props like this, for example, where it's heavy focused on rendering. And then, also this prop too. I think it's something that you carry on your weapon on Valorant. But anyway, the scary time for me came when I got asked to paint this. An environment concept for one of it's a part of one of the levels. Basically, it's an overpainting of a 3D blockout. Something that I wasn't used to do, because I've been always relying a lot on line art. So it was quite a challenge to just paint and render something and show materials. But oh boy, because I knew nothing, and still my next step was making some player card illustrations for this game too. And these are 3 examples of that kind of illustration. And the tricky part is that these are final assets for the game, so they have to be way more, they have to be more polished than a concept. So anyway, it was a great opportunity. Like, don't get me wrong, I just complaining about the painting because it's something that still scares me, and I'm so used to just use line art that anytime that I have to do something like this is a very challenge. Anyway, after West, other studios followed to help on other projects, which most things are under NDA, sadly. But anyway, so I can move to the main part of the presentation, which is OlliOlli World. I remember that at this time, Roll7 approached me to work on this IP. One of the first things that I had on Roll7 was a chat with Paul Abbott, the art director of the game. He mentioned that they wanted the game to look the way I draw, using the examples of Meaningless Adventure, the project that I showed you before, which I thought was quite silly to do and to show on our station, but he used it as an example of something that they wanted for the game, and also for me to just add like strange ideas to it. So anyway, what can you say to something like that? Anyway, I'm going to show you a gameplay trailer, just in case you don't know about this game, you haven't played, or you didn't even know that it exists.
Somewhere far across the OlliOlli world is Radlandia, a nation where the beaches, trees, and rocks you ride across were forged by the skate gods themselves. Of course they're real. Almost everyone agrees. Some say they even created the third dimension so that we could have more opportunities to explore as we seek Nirvana. In fact, Chiffon, the skate wizard, actually talks to the gods, and she's traveling the land with her crew to train her successor, you. So as you go from beautiful Sunshine Valley, through the forests, across the desert, and into picturesque Sketchside, Suze, just roll that back a sec. Whoa, hello. Ghost trees, zombies, all these aliens? There's some weird stuff in Radlandia. Just ask Mike. The only thing that hypes him more than a good mystery is a gnarly trick. Whoopah! And as anyone who's been skating for a while will tell you, if you want to wall ride, grind, or slide across moving obstacles, you'll inevitably hit a bunch of stuff or bounce off some things you were supposed to smash through. And that's okay. Just get Chiffon to teleport you back with her skate wizard powers and go again. That's the spirit. Make Dad proud. Dad! This caring father figure will help you skate in style. Whether you dress like that or this, riding on that, with that haircut, or wearing those. While traveling across Radlandia and meeting its people may be reward enough, what will you find if you do reach Nirvana? They say it's where champions compete to find the perfect flow, challenging each other's skills and ascending the ranks to be crowned the gnarliest and win rewards. You'll also be able to summon forth new tracks to ride that you can save and share using a postcode, regardless of what platform you're on. A near endless array of jumpy, grindy madness. So don't delay. Come shred by the sea, chase a bee, meet a tree. Take a trip to Radlandia and achieve Nirvana. Oh, bonus items.
Okay, enough with advertisement. Thank you very much. I'm trapped here again. Sorry, there will be a couple of moments again where I am trapped in the presentation. Okay, so you have already met the crew that will travel with you through Radlandia. And Radlandia is a weird world divided by 5 biomes. And these biomes were created by the skate gods. Yeah, I know that all of this makes a lot of sense, but anyway, instead of me just destroying the story, I'm going to show you the game animatic intro that pretty well explain some other things about this world. Well, yeah, before that, this is a map of Radlandia. So you see how it's structured and the different biomes that are there. Yeah, so here's the first thing that you watch when you start playing the game.
This is Radlandia, the ultimate skate utopia. An island where even the trees are skatable. Legend has it that Radlandia was created by 5 immortal skate gods. These celestial skatriarchs carved the mountains, grinded the deserts, and kickflipped the beaches, forming 5 mighty districts, 1 area each to represent their own versions of skate paradise. When the skate gods' work was done, they pulled the biggest airs and ascended to Nirvana. Here they waited for a skater who could master each of their 5 skills with a steez that is true and a style that is both sick and gnar. Eventually, a skater was appointed as their representative in Radlandia. A skate wizard, a master of the 4-wheeled stunt wood. The job of a skate wizard is paramount to Radlandia. They must maintain balance between Nirvana above and the spirit of skateboarding in Radlandia itself. But skate wizards are a rare thing. Maybe once in a generation? The current skate wizard, Chiffon, now approaching retirement, is on a search to find her replacement. Someone who can achieve true mastery, impress the gods, and keep Radlandia balanced like a skater on a board. And so, with the help of her crew, Mike, Suze, and a man that everyone just calls Dad, Chiffon is running tryouts for the next skate wizard. Could you be the one?
Oh no, again. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so yeah, now I'm going to start to talk a little bit about the character exploration for this game, because the beginning of the project, I was working on a lot of different elements. I basically have done the whole visual development, so there was a lot of things to work on. And at that time, we didn't have an narrative designer, so the world wasn't built, itself wasn't built. So I remember that I started to make like pages of props, some more generic environments, and the human characters. So let's start here, because this page is the first thing that I made for the game, and I think that the concept will change a bit through time. So yeah, basically to start designing this world, we started we started to think about the main character, which was going to be human. So this was a way of setting how the humans could look like in this world. Again, the process was very straightforward. I proposed these first sketches, then we iterated on them, and we got to this page, which are almost final. It was a matter of just finding the right proportions and facial features of these characters, basically, and what we wanted the style to look like. This turnaround of these characters, almost naked, to see some proportions. Then we made some more explorations on how to change the body and how much could it change in the customization items menu, because that's something quite strong in this game, the customization items, where you're able to change your character quite a lot. Then this is like the first approved design made for the game. But anyway, of course, in this game, like to make this crazy world, there are not just humans. We have like a lot of crazy characters. But oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. Before going to the other NPCs, like we use these human designs to make some other different characters. Like for example, not just the main character, but some background NPCs that you will find through this world. As you can see in these images, they are all around you populating this world. And also we use these designs as a base for the local crews. The local crews are basically skateboarding crews that you will encounter in these different biomes. Here are 3 examples from left to right. The Poison Boys from Skate Side, the Meltas crew from Sunshine Valley, and the Trifecta crew from Los Vulgas. So with these characters, we were able to change them a little bit, adding some special props and stuff like that. But all of them has the base of the human designs that we made at the beginning. And anyway, now talking about the other kind of NPCs, like this is probably my favorite part, because I basically was able to go wild here and still like keeping the level of detail because of how the game is. Just before I continue, the page on the left, these are characters for Barrock, which is the desert biome of the game, and the page from the right is a page for Cloverbrook, the forest biome. Basically, the way of working about these characters was to think about the context of the biome, because I have to focus on how these characters could live in that area. The way I was trying to think about this was like, okay, if I'm, for example, the Barrock one, thinking about the desert, okay, if there is a tree on a desert, the tree will be dead, so let's add ghost trees. I don't know. So that was like the kind of way that I was trying to think about these characters and still keeping them simple, because we were not allowed to have a lot of details on these background characters. So the way I worked on this was making just ton of them. So the team was able to choose from these pages and just add a few of them to the levels. Basically, also another thing to start working on these pages, everything basically from the game, is that I had an overall writing, like a text from amazing Liz Looney, the narrative designer of the game, who basically wrote the whole world of OlliOlli World. And so depending on what I was working on, she had like a more detailed description or not. For example, for these local crews, she wrote like a more specific text for them, not just how they would look, but more in depth, talking about their attitude, their background, how they relate with other characters in the world, stuff like that. Like going more in depth with how these characters are, and also about possible props that it could be wearing, and adding a mood board with reference images to add an early visualization on how all the different things that they could be wearing, or the props that they would be carrying, or how skateboarding could be like this one, for example, Aurora. She had like a popsicle skateboarding, but yeah, there are a lot of weird and different skates in this game. And so the way of working with Liz was a constant loop of ideas, where basically I used her writing to get inspired and to have some direction, and then sometimes I added some drawings that inspired her to do something else. And that was the case of Bibi Hopper, this one of the side quest characters that you meet in Ratlandia. And I still remember that I drew this guy during a break, and I called him Business Frog. That's the original sketch they made, and I wasn't even going to send it to them. But I was like, oh, let's see, I don't know. And I remember that at that time, I sent the page from Cloverbrook that I showed you before to the art director, and then I sent this one just in case. They instantly wanted to add him to the game as one of the side quest NPCs that gives you some quest through the game. And yeah, thanks to the final touch of Paul Abbott, it ended up looking better, because now I think that he looks like someone evading taxes. And yeah, I'm lucky him because he even stars his own trailer. Well, I can't promise that this is going to be the last trailer that I show. Like, there is something else later, but let's see.
I know what you're thinking. Who is that gorgeous amphibian, and how can I be as successful as him? Well, I'll tell you, kiddo. You gotta come to Radlandia.
Okay, just a little bit of the trailer. I'm not going to put another full one, but yeah, I can't promise anything. So, yeah, so you met the crew, but anyway, I want to talk a little bit about two characters from the crew and their development. Just a little bit about that. Here's on the left you see the final design, and on the right the first sketches that they made for him. I just think that he's one of the funniest characters from the game. So I think that you can see that the only thing missing are the bands on the knee pad. Like, that's something that I'm sad to have to be missing now, but anyway. So yeah, I think that you can see that the essence of the character is not lost into translation to the final design, but still, like, I think that the final one is more solid and can coexist better with the rest of the crew, but just a good way for you to visualize it. And also that joke that we can't miss this. It's a GIF, so we're gonna let it run a couple of times. Yeah, so this to show a little bit of the magic from Liz Looney, and yeah, sorry, because I think that this is one of the funniest jokes, but the game is full of this, so it's amazing. Yeah, so the other character I want to talk about a little bit is Chiffon, the skate wizard of the crew. Because I want to show the change that this design suffered during the production. Well, not suffer, but she got quite a big, she got some changes. These were the first sketches that I proposed for this character, and they were going in a very different direction, because this character is supposed to have this kind of magical aesthetic vibe. So I was trying to think it like this way with these characters. And this is the first version for Chiffon, which it's, I think that the clothing and all of that is quite different, but the still, like, I think that the change that she got was great, because, sorry about the mic, it's quite sensible to the distance, but yeah, so yeah, the change that she got basically was to move along with this skateboarding theme of the game, basically, because at the end, the skate wizard is one of the most important characters in Radlandia. And we thought that this one was looking okay for the game, but still was not, was hard to think about this as a skateboarder. And it's not like everything in the game has to be fully skateboard related, because it's at the end it's a crazy world. It moves along skateboarding, but a character as important as the skate wizard should look, when you look at her, you should be able to see a skater, and at the same time to feel that magical vibe. And I think that this was a better translation of of the idea of that character. And also I think it's way better when you see Chiffon in game because of the animations and how this character expresses. So yeah, but anyway, like I said, that this project is full of crazy stuff. And now I want to talk a little bit about the environment design, but first, before finishing with the character design, I want to show you, I promise it's the last trailer of the game, but it's for me, it's one of the most exciting things that have happened thanks to this production. And it's an amazing trailer made by Two-Veinte Studio, and they made this amazing kind of short. Thank you very much. How are we doing with the time?
You still have some.
Some? Yes, some.
Yeah, it's okay. You continue.
Okay, I'm trying to speed up a little bit. So yeah, anyway, this is the first environment concept that I made for the game. And I still remember that at the beginning, obviously I was still looking for the right tone and a more precise style for the visuals. So yeah, this is the first environment image that I made for it. For this first piece, well, for the first environment pieces, I didn't have a lot of context because we still didn't have Liz Looney in the team. So anyway, I tried to add my own sense of humor, not just with the weird characters and the props, but adding like funny messages on the advertisement. It was great because everyone on the team was really looking forward to build like a welcoming, funny world. So it was really great to work on this kind of environments. These are some examples of environment concepts for city areas where we were looking about how the buildings could look like. As you can see, like still the design wasn't there. Like there are too many details on these images, but still, these were pretty useful for the environment team to basically extract buildings from there. And I remember at that moment when I made these images, there was just Alex Williamson, a 3D environment artist, working on the game. So basically, he was making at the beginning he was making the props. And he was extracting them from these concepts, and we have some great iterations because since he didn't have the full information of the designs, he was making some blockouts based on what he was seeing on these concepts, and then I was making some over drawings. Like this is an example of that. Like we made a ton of these where I basically tried to add like some details, even though like this game doesn't need a lot of detail because of the way it is, but still, it was nice to create more visual information for the environment and to create more silliness to it, like this, just adding this add thing. I don't know. So these are just two examples of that kind of workflow that we had at the beginning. And here is when I consider that the style was, at least the style of the concept that I was producing were consolidated. This is an environment concept, kind of a key illustration for Cloverproc. And still, like when I talk about style consolidation, it's just about my own work. I think that the translation into the game was the same. The only change were the tests about the level of detail in the levels. And yeah, basically, in order to work on an image like this, I usually make like separated props, like this, for example. These are other 2 pages for Cloverbrook when I try to separate the issues. And here I was just thinking about the prop design and skatable props and different things that could be in the levels. So I make this first to think a little bit more about the environment, since there is nothing. I just need to start adding stuff. And then I made this kind of image where you get the mood and the vibes of the place, and you get like a nice view on how this area of the game could look like. But still, it's like this quite time consuming because you have to think about different problems. And since I was making all of the visual development, I couldn't get really distracted with making many of these. I have to focus on creating more visual information. And these are a couple of screenshots from Cloverbrook, so you see a little bit of the translation where it's quite close, but obviously leaving some detail behind. And yeah, also these are other 2 environment concepts for Nirvana. And okay, Nirvana is just like a weird place in Radlandia where the skate gods are from. And in the game itself, like you can play there, and there are like some crazy levels reusing assets from the existing biomes. So I made these 2 like full environments to represent the craziness of these levels, because it's like you reuse those assets and they are like islands floating on the sky, upside down, on different ways. So these are 2 examples of this area too. And I was mentioning before, like the way that I made the environments was thinking about the first isolated props for each biome and making like pages like this one. For example, these are just 2 examples for Banrock, where I try to just create as much as possible. And yeah, and basically, so the environment team had like more designs to choose from, or basically to get inspired. Because I think that the most important thing here is that to make sure that all of these designs can coexist together. And basically, well, I will come back to this, but yeah, basically the general way that I thought about this was like, yeah, just producing as much info as possible. Yeah, sorry, my brain just stopped there because of this slide. Because yeah, anyway, I'm going to talk about this one now. Yes, I think that was well shown on the trailer, but this game is side-scrolling, and you can move the camera. So the navigation through the game is quite limited, and at the same time, you are moving super fast, so you can't have a lot of detail here, there. And anyway, this is a block out from the level designers of one of the levels, and the part from below is just this is just a crop of the full level, and you can see the craziness of the path. And I didn't work much on how the builds are exactly built, but because well, this was a very time-consuming task to set the rest of the levels this way drawing, but from time to time I try to do some drawovers like this, where basically it's a very rough drawover of some parts of the level to think about some elements that could be where and how to reuse some stuff. But anyway, the environment team was in charge of this, and so yes, and it was basically like a crazy task. Yeah, now, well, this is an environment from Los Vulgas, one of the biomes there. And now my conclusions thinking about the environments and in comparison with the characters is that for the characters, I basically created like those big pages with different character designs where only the very best of them made their way into the game. Whereas in environment, I work in the same way, creating also big pages of props, but most of them were used in the game, or at least they helped as a reference for environment team to create variations or to help build the atmosphere of the game. And now, before I end, I wanted to talk briefly about the first DLC of OlliOlli World, Void Riders. I was lucky enough to make also the key art for the advertisement, which is this image on the screen. It was like a massive illustration to make. Quite time-consuming too. Just two things that I want to talk about. First, the Void Riders crew. This is the crew that you will encounter on this DLC. The weirdos that I show at the beginning. And yeah, I'm sorry to list the narrative designer because I'm going to destroy the pronunciation of the names of these characters. Because I think the first one is Kevin, then the second one is Sarah, and then is Tanji. And Tanji is the one that I want to talk about just a little bit. And I want to show you the sketches that I made for this character. And the weird thing is that this character was supposed to be, these are aliens. This one was supposed to have like a kind of an abstract head, but still being able to represent facial expression. So that was a little bit weird to do. We were not able to change the body because of how the animation works, but anyway, we were able to go a little bit weirder with the head. The process again was pretty straightforward. I made this page, and then we went for this body, and then this head, and that was it. And this is how these characters look in game. And obviously, for Tanji, when I made this head, we were like, oh yeah, we're going to add like a ton of animation to it. Like the eyes are going to be flexible, the pupils are going to be like a lava lamp, these things are going to be moving and fading. And then Dicky, the tech artist, was like, what the hell, no. Just you have to choose. We went for this, and still, like I think that the translation from concept to 3D and final animation is just quite amazing. And like Void Riders is one of my favorite things from this game. The last thing, the cow onesie, because I think that's just one of the greatest items from this game. Also, yeah, the fact that I wanted to show it was because of some of the technical problems that we have developing this design. These were the first sketches. These were the first sketches that I made for it. Yeah, like I knew we were going to go for the third option, but still, like I thought, okay, I'm going to try it anyway to go for some of the others, but no luck there anyway. And here's a this is not that funny because it's a technical feedback page from Arthur Thab, the lead character artist. We're complaining about the onesie because of the size of the design. There were a lot of clipping. Since you're skateboarding, you're making a lot of different poses and so on. So there were problems with the design, clipping in a lot of parts of the character. Also the tail, like we were not able to have like a long tail. But anyway, the solution was just making it closer to the body of the base character. These are some variations. Here is a turnaround of the onesie. Then it ended up like this. I think it still looks quite strange because we changed the size of the body, but we kept the size of the head. Yeah, I'm still happy that we were able to give that massive cow head with that skinny cow onesie. It just look weird. And yeah, so we have come to the end of the talk. Yeah, I just wanted to close with this weird cow onesie. It's been my dream with that, but yeah. And anyway, I wanted to show what I think are the most important things about this game. Yeah, just what I think are the best concepts about this project, because there were a lot of artworks for it. Yeah, and anyway, for me personally, this part of my career working on this type of project. Oh shit, I forgot about this. Okay, working on this project has been like a dream to me and a very important part of my life. This type of game wouldn't be the same without a lot of creative minds involved in the team. Yeah, and anyway, being able to work with Liz Looney, the narrative designer, or Paul Abbott, the art director. Yeah, I mentioned that because they are the closest people that I work with developing the whole game. Also, the art director, he also has a lot of crazy ideas and an open mind, which I think is one of the most important things in order to develop any project. And he was always trying to have my back in order to propose new and weird ideas, which is something that I think was one of the most important things on this project. And now after finishing this game, I left Roll7 and I'm starting a very different path, working on some other exciting projects that I look forward to be able to show. And anyway, questions are more than welcome. If we have time, I don't know. We'll be happy. 10 minutes. 10 minutes, okay. Well, we hurry, just 2 sentences. Anyway, yeah, I will be happy to try to help or chat after the talk is done. Anyway, also, if you want to send me a message through socials or anything, that's completely fine. And again, thank you, Ivan, for the invitation, and thank you so much for the theme park event for this opportunity, and thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
I have to do a little disclaimer. Theme Park wasn't sponsored by the company that made OlliOlli World game, but here I think I did a mistake not contacting them, since there was
neither.
already,
We tried.
it was we could get out something. But yeah, and also I will use the power of organizer to ask the first question. Sorry. So in the beginning you showed that there's some kind of changes that happened with the main character, and we see definitely your pictures, and this is the most interesting part about the presentation, but what I'm also interested, how were your art director? Were there some pictures in between that was sent by the art director to you? How you were directed towards the end result, how the communication was happening?
Yeah, it was very simple. I think because there were not many steps behind those 2 images. Yeah, most of the time was just me drawing. So, I can say that's maybe I'm missing 2 pages in between those 2 first character development, but I avoided them because they were also my drawings, and it's just a gradient of feedback. The feedback in that part was more in general, the whole project, it's been I give a lot of options, and then they choose parts, and they create a monster from different things that I have drawn. Sometimes I get lucky, and I draw something, and it goes dear to the game, but yeah.
Okay, cool, thanks. Any other questions? Oh, yep, see people there.
Hi. I wanted to ask you about the you showed the Valorant art of the. You said it was an overlay sketch on a 3D blockout. Did you say, like level art?
An overpaint of a 3D blockout. Like they gave me like an image of a very basic 3D, and then I have to overpaint it.
All right. Do you know if they use that for texturing in the final game? Because it looks the same in the final game. So, like, do they use your art for the texture, or do they use it as concept?
I can't answer that because I was working through outsourcing. That they were very picky with the textures, but I'm not super sure about that.
All right. Thank you, though.
Hi. How long does it about take to make that like really detailed illustration, like one of those very big, like fully detailed?
Yeah, in a mess. I should know. I think. Yeah, maybe just if I have some designs that I've done before, just 4 days maybe. Yeah, something like that. It's just that, for example, the page of characters, the NPCs that I show, with the Banrock stuff, the cacti people and so on, I can make one page of that in maybe 1 or 2 days. Like that's the only thing that I have super clear about the timing. With those bigger images, I'm not super sure because usually, since I was making all of the artwork, from time to time I had some smaller tasks in between. So yeah, I would say around 4 days.
Okay, thanks.
More questions?
Hi. That seems to be a lot of work. Did you develop any mental or technical ways to make it easier for you?
For OlliOlli, you mean?
OlliOlli concept art.
Okay, can you repeat the question, sorry?
Because it seems to be a lot of work, lots of drawing and lots of ideating. And did you develop any mental helps or technical helps to make it easier for you and not to get blocked?
Yeah, I think that just working with this, like I mentioned, to working with Liz Looney and Paul Abbott just made it super easy. Like, luckily, I'm happy to say that I didn't feel blocked. Like I was always like having a lot of ideas because of the environment that I would have with that people, that they were very, very open. Also with John Ravens, the creative director, like the way that the ideas worked there was very easy to work on with them. Also, I think that Lee's writing is great. Created like a very good mood for the world, and at the same time, like I don't know how, but I didn't feel like stuck with the ideas in the whole development. So sometimes it was a matter of containing myself to not just through more. Because, for example, those pages of NPCs, like sometimes I drew like 15 of them and just 3-4 made it to the game. So that was kind of a waste. And also because they are super simple, so I was able to just try to think about the ideas and not worry about the technical aspects of it.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Another question. So in the beginning you mentioned that, okay, I thought that concept art is rendering and painting a lot of detailed pictures. And did your perception of the concept art changed right now? What would be your description of the concept now?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that I wasn't going to answer that question because, like, yeah, like I don't know. I still find it quite strange. I mean, at the end, concept art is just like pre-production for a project, and that's it. Like you can do like the weirdest type of art that if it helps a project, that's concept art. But because of how usually concept art has been seen, I wasn't sure. Like, oh, maybe I have to go to animation because that's how like. because that's how the way I thought it worked. So I don't know. At the end, I think it's just about ideas, and that's it. And that's what I enjoy focusing on. I don't like things that are too repetitive. Like for example, like painting stuff and so on, because it takes so long. Like I like to be able to just throw ideas as quickly as possible. So that would be my way of seeing concept art. Then this is so specific that it's not something that I can work on a lot of companies. Like it's have to be very, very specific for it. So yeah, I don't know if that answer at all, but
Yeah, it does. It does. So the main for me, like it's just about the idea is the main thing. Yeah.
Hello. Is your art influenced by your short background in engineering? Because you have very good geometric and architectural style with very minimalistic line art.
yeah, probably no. But fair question. No, it's the engineering was more about programming. It was like a new engineering in Spain. It was called video game development, but it was an official engineering, so it was a trap. When you enter there, is programming, programming, physics, math, and all of that. So no, going there, I just realized that I don't know how I studied there 2 years. Like on the second year, it was like, oh, what the hell I'm doing here? Like this is not for me. Like I was struggling with everything, and I really didn't know that what I was going to do. Because I never trusted that drawing was a path for me, even though I've been drawing my whole life and I've never stopped, like I've been always drawing. But in my mind was not a space for thinking like, okay, maybe I can live by just thinking about drawing. So yeah, sadly, I don't recall any relation from that time of my life with the type of work that I do now. I was able to meet nice people, so that's good enough.
We'll probably have time for one more question, and that's it for Germán. Yep.
If not, I can put a couple more trailers.
Hello. I have some kind of complicated, interesting question. First of all, I think congratulations for being hired to do a video game with completely your style. I think that's the dream, and it's something that many of us would like to get to someday. But I'm wondering, because I work in an animation studio, and when your style goes into this production, I just want to have a talk maybe about mental implications about your artwork being qualified, being measured. For example, many of the concepts you did, like really amazing line language and weight, and then many things get just cut. Or even situations, if maybe happen, of hiring people who have to emulate your style and things like that. Like, I'm just interested in knowing if you could talk a little bit about how it is to have your style in a production.
First, thank you so much for the kind words. Like, I really appreciate it. You mean for the translation of my artwork to the final product with the team? You mean about that?
Yeah, because you have, as I said, very detailed style, and the translation was quite not right there.
Yeah, I think that at the end, the translation, that was like the big part of Paul Abbott, the art director, because luckily I was able to work fully on the visual development, and he gave me like the responsibility to just draw the way I draw, and then he was the one who was making sure that the whole team was working in that way, and that translation got perfectly into the game. Because at the end there are some things in the game that I don't think are related to the part that I was doing, like for example, we had like an amazing tech artist, Dicky, who was able to create the shader of the game, which was looking amazing, basically. And also, like the levels in the game is like a very heavy weight on the team. That was thanks to the environment team that we had, and the work of Laura Dilloway, the lead environment artist that worked closely with Paul Abbott. So because I had to do like a huge amount of work, I wasn't, and we didn't have like a lot of time. I wasn't involved a lot into working on the feedback for the translation. It was, I have to say, it was very straightforward. The translation of the literal concepts to the 3D, like it really worked very well. It was just a matter of fixing some things, but in general, I know it just went smooth.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Just like a little correct. Did you feel like you feel sorry about losing some of those details, you know, or you had to fix some of your art because, for example, the tech artist cannot reproduce that? Did you have any kind of a like sadness moment or something?
Yeah, kind of. Like I've been very like obsessive with those details, but I learned to let go because at the end you can't. Like I couldn't do that, and there are technical restrictions which I didn't mention during the talk, but something great that we had in the pipeline was that Paul Abbott was all the time telling me to not worry about the technical issues. Like he was like, okay, you just design, and then we will see how we do these things, and that's it. It was a nightmare for the people in charge of more technical aspects. Oh, okay. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
But yeah, I completely forgot what I was saying. Okay, yeah, about losing some detail on the game. But I don't know. It's the thing. Anyway, even though that we were losing some detail on some things, I think that still, if the main part of the design translates well into the game, like I won't care about that. Like we made some tests where I drew over some screenshots on the game. We tried to add some more detail, but there is also this problem with how the gameplay is in the game, that sometimes you're moving super fast, so you are not able to see anything, and that's a shame because it's there are a lot of work. There is a lot of work on a lot of environments, but it's a matter of balancing the artwork with the game design, which at the end it's one of the most important things.
I guess. Thank you. I guess that's it for Germán's talk today, and thanks a lot. It was amazing, and I think a lot of people here will purchase the game afterwards. It was a really great advertisement.
We need a commission.
You need to,
that.
yeah. Like we have a recording that you show that. We should send them to the company. So, yeah. Thanks you again for listening, and we'll start the next thing, which is a discussion on media responsibility in like 10 minutes here, 10, 15-ish minutes. So please be back here, and some cool people will join that discussion. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.